Welcome to our senior secondary biology. In this video, we are going to take a look at adaptation of cells. Cells are adapted to perform their respective functions. What I mean by adapted is they've got features that enables them do what they do. According to science, over the years, cells have developed these features so that they do whatever they do more efficiently. According to religion, God made cells with features that enables them to do what they do. So in short, cells adapted to do their functions by having features that enable them perform their functions. So we are going to look at different cells and the features and also their functions, and we'll try to marry the features to the functions. We're going to start with a root hair cell. So this is an example of a root hair cell. The whole thing is not a root hair cell, but these hair-like strands are the root hair cells. So if we take a detailed look of a root hair cell, it looks like this. So it is usually in the ground, surrounded by soil, water, and soil particles. So the function of a root hair cell is to absorb water and mineral salts and then transport the same up to the upper parts of the plant. So what features enables it to perform these two functions? Actually, I've just mentioned one function. The other function is to anchor the plant in the soil. So what enables it to perform these two functions? The first is it has got an elongated shape. So if you can see on your left, it has got a shape that goes deep into the soil. So how does this help it to perform its function? This elongation means that there is more area of it which is in contact with water, therefore enabling it to have a large surface area for absorption of water and of course mineral salts. Also, the elongation means that the plant goes deep into the soil and somehow the root hair cell goes deep into the soil and supports the plant. The other feature that enables it to perform this function is it has a lot of chloroplasts. Remember, chloroplasts are responsible. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It has got a lot of mitochondria. So mitochondria are responsible for energy. They provide the cell with energy. For mineral salts and water to move up the plant, they need to be powered by energy. So the mitochondria are responsible for that. The other feature is they don't have chloroplasts. Remember, chloroplasts are responsible for photosynthesis, or they make food using sunlight energy. So root hair cells are buried in the ground, meaning that they are not exposed to sunlight unlike other parts of the plant. So there's no need for them to have chloroplasts. The fact that there's no chloroplast gives more room inside the root hair cells for water to be kept and moved up the plant. The other feature, I've mentioned how many features. First, elongated feature. Secondary, presence of mitochondria. Third, absence of chloroplast. And lastly, they occur main in numbers, which enables them to, which also increases the surface area because they are main, which means most of their surface are in contact with water. So the fact that they occur main in numbers, it means surface area is increased and therefore more absorption can occur. So this is a summary of what I've just said. So the function is to anchor the plant in the ground. Second function is to absorb water and mineral salts. Adaptation. The first is they have got an elongated outgrowth which offer more surface for absorption of water and mineral salts and also support. So the two functions are catered in this feature. The second feature, which only caters the second function, is they have got absence of chloroplast, which creates more room for absorption. Thirdly, they are many numbers so as to increase their surface areas. And finally, they have got high concentration of mitochondria to provide energy for transportation of absorbed mineral salts. So let's move to the next example. So the next type of cell we're going to look at is called a xylem cell. A xylem cell appears like this. So here there are three xylem cells. There's this, and there is this. What is the function of a xylem cell? First, where is the xylem cell found? So xylem cells are usually found in the stems of plants. Their functions are two. One, to offer mechanical support to the plant. Two, to transport or to conduct mineral salts, to transport or offer conduction of absorbed mineral salts and water to the other parts of the plant from the roots. So when the root hair cells absorb water, then the xylem cells helps in moving the absorbed water and mineral salts, by the way, to the other parts of the plant. So what features enables xylem cells to perform their functions? The first is they don't have protoplasm. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is a collective name given to cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. So they don't have cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. So how does that help? When water and mineral salts are moving, they move freely without bumping into anything. So that's how the absence of protoplasm enables them to perform their functions, their function effectively. The second feature is their end cell walls that neighbors them to another cell. They are broken. So this is supposed to be connected, but they are broken. This enables them to appear like tubes, which enables the transportation of mineral salts and water easily. The last feature, they also have got in their cells a substance called lining or lignin. I don't know the actual pronunciation. So the same substance makes their cells strong, which provides mechanical support to the entire plant. So in short, what I've just said is the functions are to conduct conduction of water and mineral salts, mechanical support to the plant. Adaptation, how are they adapted? First, I said no protoplasm, leaving a hollow space on the middle of the cell, which makes the flow of substance easy. Also, cells to neighboring cells are broken to form continuous tubes. And finally, cells have a substance called lignin that offer mechanical support. Let's move to the next type of cell. The next type of cell we're going to look at is called the phloem cell and looks like this. So these are about 3 phloem cells, this one, and this one. So these are like xylem cells. They are also found in plants, and usually they are found in the stems or branches. What do? They transport manufactured food from one part of the plant to another. So food is usually made in the parts of the plant that photosynthesize, which are usually green. It can be leaves. So when food is made from the leaves, that food has to be shared with other parts of the plant. So that for the food to be moved, the phloem cells transport the food. So what features enables the phloem cells to transport manufactured foods? So the first feature is they have they do have protoplasm, but not all of it. So we say that protoplasm is partly lost, leaving a cytoplasmic strand. So on the protoplasm, we have got a cytoplasm, we have got nucleus, and we have got cell membrane. So these ones don't have they don't have a nucleus and a cell membrane. They only have strands of cytoplasm, which makes the movement of manufactured food easy, just like the way in xylem cells. The other feature is they have got in xylem cells the cell walls are broken, but in here they are perforated. They have got these tumor holes here, which makes them act like tubes also, because the manufactured foods can move from one cell to another. The other feature is they have got what are called companion cells. So companion cells provide what is called ATP. We're going to learn about it. ATP is somehow is involved with provision of energy. So ATP provides the cells with energy so that the movement is possible. Remember, in root hair cells we had mitochondrion, which was providing the cells with energy. Here we've got what are called companion cells that provide the same. So what I've just said in summary is function, transporting manufactured foods from one part to another. Adaptation, end holes between neighboring cells are perforated to form sieves. So a sieve is those who know Osaka Nyanja, it's a safer and sharp, like a sieve, you sieve. So end holes are perforated, have got holes which enables food, manufactured food on it to pass through them. Then protoplasm is partly lost, leaving behind a cytoplasmic strand, and also presence of companion cells which provide a substance called ATP and enzymes for transport. I forgot to mention enzymes. So the companion cells provide ATP and enzymes for transport. We're going to learn what an enzyme is. Let's go to the next type of cell. So the next is gut cells, and to understand them, we have to understand something about leaves. So given a leaf like this, it has got small holes which are called stoma. The same holes that the holes are like the same holes that are on our skins, such that when we sweat or when it's hot we sweat, where the water comes from, those holes also leaves have them. But for leaves, they are called stoma, and of course, that's where gaseous exchange and water exchange between the plant and the external environment occurs. The plural of stoma is stomata. So a single stoma looks like this. So this opening here is what is called the stoma. Then around it are what are called gut cells. So this is a gut cell and this is a gut cell. Gut cells have got organelles inside them such as vacuoles. But anyway, here we're not going to concentrate on the organelles inside because they don't help in the manner in which the gut cells perform the function. So I'm going just to forget about the organelles. So what's the function of the gut cells? The gut cells control the closing and opening of the stoma. How do they do that? By the way, the stoma has to open or close depending on the water levels inside the plant. In a case where the plant has absorbed a lot of water, most cells are going to get swollen because of the water. So the gut cells also will absorb the same water so that they also become swollen. When they are swollen, what happens is they appear caved like this, which results in the stomata to be open like the way it is. Why should the stomata be open when a plant has absorbed a lot of water? So of course, it's to avoid cells from being damaged, from getting swollen and being damaged. So if there's sunlight, the excess water will evaporate outside the plant. And once the water evaporates, even the water inside the stoma will also evaporate till there will be nothing inside the stoma. So when there's nothing, it means water is in balance, and if more water is lost, then the plant will have a deficiency of water. So the stoma has to be closed. How does that happen? The gut cells, now that they have nothing inside, they're empty, they will become like this, they will straighten. So once they are straightened like this, the stoma is closed and no more water can be lost. So that's how the gut cells work. What features enables them to do this? First, they occur in pairs so that when they cave, when both of them cave, well, that is when they got swollen, the stoma opens, and when they get straightened, the stoma closes. The other feature is that if you look closely, their cells, it's like for this one, it's thin here, and here it's thick, just like for this one. So this makes the closing of the stoma or opening of the stoma easily. So in short, what I've said is the functions are controlling the opening and closing of the stomata or of the stoma. Adaptation, what makes them do this function, what helps? First, they occur in pairs and each cell is caved when swollen after absorbing water. The biological term for this is turgid. We are going to learn about this. And also straightens when it has lost water. Their cells are thick around the stoma than anywhere else, making the stoma open when they absorb water. So these are the features that help gut cells perform their functions effectively. So the next cell we're going to look at is Palisade cell, which looks like this. So this one looks like a normal cell with normal organelles: cell membrane, cell, cytoplasm, vacuole, chloroplast, and nucleus. So the only feature that makes it a bit different from other cells is its shape. It's short in horizontally, but in the height or vertically it is longer. So what is its function first? Actually, the function is this is a cell where photosynthesis occurs. That's the function. Of course, we learned about chloroplast being an organelle that is responsible for photosynthesis. So many cells have got chloroplast, of course, but Palisade cell has got a lot of chloroplast, which is one feature that makes it perform its function. So as you can see, these chloroplasts here, there are many. So that's one feature. The other feature is the shape, which makes chloroplasts be able to migrate from one point to another, so they can move from here to the other parts of the cell. Why should they move? So when there is too much sunlight, the chloroplast can be destroyed, and when there is less sunlight, there's photosynthesis cannot occur at optimum level. In short, there would be less photosynthesis. So these cells are supposed to move so that they search where there is good light for them to photosynthesize. Not too much of it, again, not too less of it. So that's the two features that enables Palisade cells to perform their functions effectively. First, they have got a lot of chloroplast. Secondly, the shape. So in summary, function: these are cells that carry out photosynthesis. Adaptation: they have high concentration of chloroplast for photosynthesis. Secondly, they are longer vertically than horizontally, which makes chloroplast to move up and down depending on changes in the light intensity. So we're done with examples of cell in plants. Let's move to examples of cell in animals. We're going to start with a red blood cell, which looks like this. So the function of a red blood cell is to transport oxygen throughout the body. Some say it partly also transports carbon dioxide. So when you are breathing, the oxygen you breathe in will be absorbed into your blood, and it will be transported to wherever it is needed by a red blood cell. What feature enables a red blood cell to do this? First is its shape. It has what is called a biconcave disc shape. So biconcave disc shape is just another way, or a biological way of saying it is shaped like a cup. So since it is shaped like a cup, as you can see, more oxygen can be absorbed for transportation. Secondly, it has a pigment called hemoglobin. So a pigment is something that in art that gives something color. If we say green pigment, it is something that makes something appear green. Anyway, this hemoglobin is what gives blood its red color. So how does it help? So hemoglobin has got a high affinity for oxygen. In short, it has got a strong attraction for oxygen. So whenever there is oxygen nearby, it will attract oxygen. So the fact that red blood cells has got hemoglobin, it will, wherever it passes, it will be attracting oxygen. So that's the second feature. The third feature is it doesn't have a nucleus, which gives more room for oxygen. So those are the three features. The fact that it doesn't have a nucleus, there's more room for oxygen, which means it can absorb more oxygen. So if these are oxygen particles, because of the hemoglobin, they are attracted to this, and because of the disc shape, more of it can be attracted, and because there's no nucleus, more of it again can be attracted. So in short, the function of red blood cells transport is to facilitate the transportation of oxygen throughout the body. The adaptation, or the features that makes it do this, is it is biconcave disc shaped, which increase the surface area for oxygen diffusion. There is also a presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin, which has high affinity for oxygen. And finally, there is absence of nucleus, which makes more room for hemoglobin, meaning that this hemoglobin will attract more oxygen. When I was explaining the diagram, I said the absence of nucleus makes more room for oxygen, but it is the same. Makes more room for hemoglobin so that as to attract more oxygen. Hope you get the correction here. So the next type of cells are what are called white blood cells. So there are two in types. The first one we're going to look at are called phagocytes and appear like this. These are the features. They have got what is called a lobed nucleus. So a lobed nucleus is like a nucleus that is partly not attached to the cell and partly attached for reasons to be explained. They also have got the cytoplasm and the cell membrane as usual. So what do white blood cells do? White blood cells protect our bodies against infections. So there are two in types. There are what are called phagocytes and lymphocytes. So this one which I'm illustrating here is a phagocyte. What does a phagocyte do? Let's say there is a germ or a foreign particle in the body, something that is harmful, that is deemed to be harmful. The phagocyte will move towards it and then it will engulf it. So you can see it has changed its shape completely, and the lobed nucleus of course is not disturbed. So that's why it's lobed, so that it can easily adapt to any shape depending on the thing that's been engulfed or digested. So that's how that foreign particle or germ will die. So in summary, these engulf and digest germs of foreign bodies, and what makes them do this? So these are the features. One, they have got a lobed nucleus which makes engulfing easily. Secondly, they have got what is termed to be amoeboid movement, which makes it possible for them to move towards germs. So the way they move is they move like snails, where you act like you're crawling. That's called amoeboid movement till they reach where the germ is and engulf it. Finally, they have no fixed shape, and the ability to change shape makes engulfing easy. So the next type, or the other type of white blood cells, are what we call lymphocytes, and this is how they look. So they have got a nucleus, cytoplasm, and of course a cell membrane. So their function is to defend the body against infections, which we already know, but how? By producing antibodies and antitoxins. So phagocytes are involved in the whole. They go there and deal with the enemy. Well, lymphocytes are bosses. They want to sit, and then they send their soldiers called antibodies and antitoxins to deal with germs or foreign bodies. How do they do this? So they have got a large nucleus, as you saw in the picture when I'd shown you. They have got a large nucleus and a thin cytoplasm. So this enables them to produce antibodies and antitoxins that deal with the foreign bodies. So the other type of an animal cell that we're going to study, maybe this is the second last one, it's a muscle cell. So your muscles, if you have got some muscles, these are the cells we're studying now. So in its relaxed form, it looks like this. So when you fold your arm, when you bend your arm, for those, I don't know if for ladies, but for us men, the bicep muscle, the muscle on your upper arm, somehow becomes bigger. In that state, it is in its relaxed state. And the other state is when you straighten your arm, when it is said to be in contracted state. So what's the function of a muscle cell? So the function of a muscle cell is they contract and relax so as to produce movement. So they help in the production of movement. For something to move, they help by contracting and relaxing. So what enables them to do this? So they have got an abundance of mitochondria, which provides energy for contraction. So remember, mitochondria, that is the energy source for cells. So the fact that they've got a lot of mitochondria, which means a lot of energy is produced in muscle cells as compared to other cells. Also, they have got what are called actin and myosin filaments, which enables them to contract. Other cells don't contract because they don't have these two filaments called actin and myosin. They have these two filaments. We also have ciliated cells which look like this. They have got the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the cell membrane. They have got this hairy strands called cilia. So these cells are usually found in respiratory tracts and also in oviducts in women. So respiratory tracts are parts like the nose, the windpipe, alveoli. So for those who don't know what an alveoli is, don't worry, you will. Yes, so what do? So in respiratory tracts, they move back and forth so that they sweep dead mucus or mucus that has germs. Then in the oviduct in females, they help in the movement of the ovum. So they move back and forth so that the ovum is pushed. So that's their job. So what features helps them perform this function effectively? First, they have got these hairy like strands called cilia, which of course enables the movement to be possible. Also, they have got mitochondria, a lot of mitochondria, so that energy is provided for the movement. So in summary, they are found in the respiratory tract. They sweep out mucus containing dirt and germs. They are also found in the oviduct. They move the ovum towards the uterus. Adaptation, what makes them perform this function effectively? So first, they have cytoplasmic hair called cilia for sweeping. They've got high concentration of mitochondria providing energy for movement. So we're going to finish this video with nerve cell neuron. And what is a nerve cell neuron? So this thing you are looking at is a nerve cell neuron. What does it do? When someone touches your hand, you feel that someone has touched your hand. How does that happen? So when someone touches your hand, there is a sensation or what is called electrical impulse that is initiated. That impulse will move throughout your body till it reaches your brain, and that's when you know that someone has touched you. How does that happen? So throughout our body, there are cells which are called neurons or nerve cells. So when someone touches your hand, an impulse like this is initiated and it will be moving through a neuron on the point of touch where the person has touched you. So it will move throughout the cell till it reaches the other end, and this signal will be picked up by a neighboring cells. These cells are connected like they are connected like a chain. So one cell will get a signal and it will give it to the next cell, and that cell will get that signal and it will give it to the next cell. So that's how nerve cells work till the signal reaches its destination. So this is a detailed look of a nerve cell, a neuron. So this part is called the cell body. This is called the nucleus. These foci are called dendrite, and this part is called the axon. So we have got these bulgy things called myelin sheath, and this one's called node of Ramsey. And of course, this side we have got what are called axon terminal, or maybe we'll use another word, which is synaptic knob. So the function is just to transmit electrical signals in our body. But what features enables it to do so? So first, these dendrite are the ones that pick the signal from a neighboring cell. Then also, the axon helps the signal to be transported throughout the cell. Then the node of Ramsey enables the transportation to be faster. The synaptic knob at the end, they connect with the next cell, so they are locked with the next cell so that the signal is not interrupted in its transportation. So a summary. So the function is conduction of electrical impulses, adaptation, first presence of dendrites to collect impulses from neighboring cells, presence of axons that carry impulses from one end of the cell to another, presence of synaptic knob that forms a link with other neurons or nerve cells, and finally, presence of nodes of Ramvia that makes impulses faster. So this marks the end of this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. For any clarification, you can use the comment section or find a way to get in touch with me. Otherwise, happy solving.